What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, Shakira. So it is miserable. It's a beautiful day, first and foremost, but my allergies are killing me. So I apologize. And I just realized I've spent 3 sessions today, and I should have like streamed one of them live or something. Anyway, so I've had a bit of an epiphany in terms of my trading model and how I should be testing it out, both in back testing and live testing. So I want to share with you my morning because I'm using just to kind of visually remind me where I am in time, the market sessions indicator, just to block out the 3 times of the day that I'm most interested in finding a trade. So I want to share with you my first thing in the morning trade. That no joke. I'm trying to just find 5 handles, 20 ticks. That's it. 250. That's it. Why is it molasses? And I'm trying to set myself to this rule, because if I can find that easily, that's like quick money, no muss, no fuss. I did a little bit of calculation, like if I keep my current job, right, and I make $500 a day, right? So that's like 250, 5 handles in the morning, 5 handles in the evening. $500 a day, right? Sans fees and all that jazz. And, just for funsies, let me just do the calculation so I'm not losing. So if I made $500 a day times 5 days, that's $2,500 a week, right? Times 4 weeks, that's $10K a month. Just off of that. Off of the easiest thing to get, right? Something to myself like, why am I pushing so hard for these bigger moves when I'm still so new? And let me master getting the 5 handles, the bread and butter, just like in my pocket, So that's 10K minus taxes, because I would be putting away money to pay the government the money, even though they don't deserve it. But I'd be putting it away to pay them because I'm not crazy. Anyway, something to myself, man, that's amazing, right? So that's what? 10K a month. That's $120,000 extra on top of my regular paycheck. I mean, I'm not mad at that. Would you be? New things I could do with an extra 120? Well, if I don't open up an LLC, that means taxes would be about 37% approximately. Plus, so that's federal, and then the state taxes, I assume they're gonna want to take their pound of flesh. So let's assume they take out about 40% of my thing. As an estimate. I gotta go look at the exact numbers. I pulled them at one point. So if they took 40% of that, that's 48K gone already from the 120, leaving me with still $72,000. I only had to spend a few less, probably maybe an hour a day to make. You know what I mean? On top of my regular job. I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna leave it at 5 handles, but let me just get my bread and butter. So let me show you what I was doing today. So let's get tiny. So I apologize. Allergies, miserably, a little misery. So bear with me, huh? All right, let's get tiny. Looks like one of my alerts went off. Okay. Thank you. All right. So first things first. Just so you know, I'm not Luke. So, and I haven't had a chance to post this yet. Sorry, you guys. Keep clicking on these things. All right. So I need to prep the video I made in the morning yesterday and post it. Another long one. And I'm realizing I'm doing it wrong. I'm just doing it wrong. So first things first, I reset my paper trading account to the approximate amount that I would like to start with, funded wise. Okay. And I reset it on the 12th. So on Wednesday. So first thing I did on Wednesday was lose $300, as you can see. And then I mitigated a little bit of the drawdown later on in the PM session. So 358, 420. Terrible time. Like the 421 I just closed because even though I felt like when it opened back up at 6 o'clock, it would still drop and give me the rest of my 5 handle run, I didn't trust it. It could, you know, pop open at any point. So then this morning, I was looking for 5 handles, maybe a tick or two above it. As you can see, 275. This is at 7:56 a.m. that this got closed, right? So if you look at my orders, what's it doing? Okay, history. All right. So, uh, first thing in the morning, right, here we are. So 7:08 a.m. this morning. So what I've found is between 6:45 and 8, potentially there's something might form there. Technically between 5 something too, but I'm testing it out still. And then again between 10 and 12, sorry, 10 and 11, and then again sometime between 2 and 4. So the entry should occur somewhere, you know, about the 3:15 time frame, right? So let me share what I was doing this morning, right? 7:08, right? So I had stop loss at 41.23 and my limit order was 41.25. All right, let's go take a look at the AM session, right? And let's come in here. Let's make that big. All right, so all the way down here, right? So here's what I was seeing. So I come in this morning and literally what I see is a nice, beautiful shift down here. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is kind of nice, right? A nice juicy shift. We have a fair value gap right here. And I'm thinking a breaker right here, right? Because we have a higher high, sorry, a higher high, and it's traded through. So the lowest in my mind is this guy. I was technically looking for something, as we saw, 41.25 was my fill, so I wanted it right up here. So you saw I had a limit order at 41.25, and I was expecting it to drop down into this guy. Now, I don't think I wrote it all the way down, but per my order, why does it do that? I got 20 ticks, 22 ticks, right, approximately. So let's just take a quick gander, right? We had a nice break. I'm not discounting this one for the moment. Although, if we take a quick look at the low of this candle up here, the low is 41.2575, and the high of this candle is 41.2575 to the tick. So wow, right? So I had 41.25 even as my entry, with a 23 tick, I believe. Let me just make sure. Let's write it 4 times 50. So 22 ticks. Yeah. So I had 22 ticks that I wanted to come down here. So I had to wait through all of this miasma. So I was just waiting. I was like, yeah. And the other thing that I was thinking to myself too is I needed it to come back into a premium, right? So at the time, oops, not there, sorry. I needed to come back into a premium, right? So at the time I was using this top and this bottom to rate the premium because I didn't think they were going to come all the way back up here, not until, I guess, later, whatever. And you see my little box here. This is the only time that I wanted to try and get a trade or an entry at least, right? So just to note it, 41.25 right there, which is that order block right there. And my stop loss was at 41.23. Obviously not 41.23. I've been using like 8 tick stop losses. Put on to the 1 minute for this guy. I've been using somewhere between 8 and 12 tick stop losses. So in my mind, for this one, given that my 1% would be 16 ticks, I think my stop loss was like 12 or 13 ticks. I wanted to be above this. And there's this volume imbalance right here that I was considering as well. Anyway, so then in my mind, 22 ticks, they're going to come down and voila, beautiful. Now, the lunchtime of from the 10 to 11 time frame, ICT was having a live on YouTube, so I wasn't trading, which is good because we can take a look at what that looks like. So right now, what do we have, right? And let me just, and I'll share a screenshot from my journal from this morning, because my journal notes, like, pretty much every day I take screenshots. I make notes about every little thing, so I can go over it, right? So then let me grab this screenshot right here. So this is my 6:30 to 7-ish. Man, hold on, sorry. Right, gotta like actually copy it. Is it like pasting just somewhere I can't see it? What do you guys think? Seriously, why is it not pasting? That's annoying. I might have to, uh, I'll, uh, yeah, why, copy and see if I can paste it somewhere else. Perhaps it's just being extra annoying with me. Hmm. You know what? Let me open up Paint or something. So I'm saving everything in Google Drive now, and it lets me organize things really well. I didn't download a copy. All right, whatever. I don't want to waste too much of your time staring after this. Anyway, so then I 8:30 came. What was this? PPI came out today. Well, one of the news items, and they shook all the all the shorts out, and they really anybody who had their stops under here, they were okay. And then it just kind of meandered around. So my first box covers 6:45 to 7:30, looking for an entry, and I got it there. And then something to remember, like, you gotta wait for it to come back into a premium. Otherwise, I could have taken it from here, and I would have been like really upset. So now between 10 and 11, ICT did an awesome job, man. I was just like learning so much live, just watching him. It's like he's talking about like time distortion, right? And this is like the the dealer range, right? Like where they're hanging out and consolidating and being annoying, and we have to bust past it, right? Not to mention that we had also in this um, general vicinity. Do we have the breaker in here as well? Because I was looking at a breaker here on the 5 minutes. I already mentioned that one. How far did I go? Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so all right, we shifted through this to make that. So do we have a low, lower, low ship? Better if it's closer. We have this other breaker that I was using. High, higher, high shift. This breaker for this quick handle. Oh, I should note that the fact that it was above the Newegg opening gap and I could use it as a target. Is perfect. Now, you know, all of this chop right here, understanding that we're also something that he pointed out that was very interesting. He wanted to see what they were going to do inside of this order block. And look how the bodies, respected it. Not to mention that we're inside this other Newegg opening gap, an older one, right? The low, the high, the midpoint, mean threshold or whatever. So this point, somewhere along the line, there is a volume imbalance in here. I didn't trade this. So just to be clear, just watching it and learning like everybody else. And we need to, so it stayed inside, just keep that clean. And then as it, time, right? So what have we done so far? Like we've from the 8:30, we've shook out all of the guys that went short. We didn't take out these guys. We've dropped in. Now we're respecting the base of this Newegg opening gap. There is he was denoting a fair value gap that formed on Monday. I had something else that I was utilizing, but it was heartening to see that the morning trade that I was looking at was something that he was also noting. So I was like he's like, as I was watching that breaker this morning, I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get 5 handles out of this. If I can eke out 5 handles, I'm a good camper. Oh man. Wow. Anyway, so once this deal, see, keep doing that. So once the dealer's range got broken and we closed a candle, once they stopped chopping around and they closed a candle above this and broke this, it's a shift, right? 2 things happened. He didn't have this denoted on his, but I have this. So they meandered here, and then he was saying like once it broke out, he would like to see them come back down to the top to fill this in, and then shoot away. So freaking accurate. So they basically did that, but this was they gave you 2 opportunities to enter and like ride it back up. So that was nice to see. And then that formed right just like what 10:09, like 9 minutes after 10. It gave you a good nice long entry, easy 5 handle run right there. So then my next objectives are between 2 and 4. Now when I started looking at 2, it was already like ripping away, right? Up, 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 up. So honestly, I was looking for them and entering another Newegg opening gap right here in the blue. So I was looking for them to really, I don't know, I'm not sure what I was thinking, right? I didn't know if they were going to come back down. And this is something that only time and experience will help with, because I could have entered earlier, right? But I just wasn't sure. I knew I was going long, but I'm finding I need to be strategic about where I go long, right? And that's super important. So then my very last set of trades, which ended up being 2 because I let the first one close when I didn't need to. And just to share that with you again. So I had my was that 315, right? So I had my limit order. Filled at that, and then my take profit was 141.7625. So 5 handles. Actually, sorry, this one. That's the second one, the market order, 5 handles. Um, the next one was my stop loss. I'd moved it into profit, right? 41.71.50, and I moved my stop loss like 7 ticks in, so I wouldn't get stopped out. It's only 5 handles, so I'm trying to like reduce my risk. So from yesterday's 300 in the hole, I've mitigated that, and now I'm 500 up. So that would put me, and that's with me for the most part trying to risk half a percentage, which is eight ticks or $100, with the knowledge that I can go up to 16 ticks if I really want to, but I try not to. Anyway, so my thought was this, and I should have kept it like that, right? I had a limit order set at the base of this volume imbalance because again, we have a low, lower low traded through. So we have a breaker right here. And we have this fair value gap's not really inside of the breaker, but this volume imbalance is. So I had a limit order and they never made it down to it here. So I got a little discouraged and they drove up into my take profit. Luckily for me, they came back down again. And I got a second chance to get in there. So as you can see, at 323 is when I had the, what was it, 3 or 7 ticks? I can't. What's that? Yeah. Like 6 or something, whatever is $75. And then I decided, and I could have gotten 250 on this run if I'd just taken my 20 ticks. I wanted 23 ticks. And it went up to 21 and then dropped back down. I was like, dang it. So that was here when they came back down. I never quite made it. And I wanted 23 ticks, which was a little further up. And then they came back down and I got an entry around here and I got my 20 ticks right in there. And that was it. And then they dropped to now it's too close. It was too close to 4 o'clock and I want to get back into anything. But honestly, 25 handles is all I was expecting. I mean, look at the moves. Look at how much they've already moved. So same scenario. So far, it's been breaker with some sort of PD array. So volume imbalance, fair value gap, along with the order, along with the order or breaker or a block, and that's been working pretty well so far. So I'm going to stick to that plan and see how I can keep growing this account. And only after I've I don't know, put 10K on it, will I think to adjust how much risk. So if at 10K, I'm probably gonna still try and keep it at $100, as minimal as possible. 40K, 50K, same thing. Trying to preserve capital. And I'm literally, no joke, guys, literally still, oh, sorry. There's the breaker, there's a volume imbalance. And just to give you guys the visual. Also, another important thing, everybody was in confluence. There was a potential on the NASDAQ for a Six Sister scenario where everybody else had already taken out this high, like right here, and the NASDAQ had not. So let me check here. So there was one point. Let's make this big. And I was like, oh, the Six Sister, I could, wait for it to take out a particular high. So, and it hadn't yet. So I think somewhere around here, approximately. I don't think I'm quite right. Not there. I really should have, didn't take screenshots like I was supposed to, like a silly goose. Anyway, I'm gonna have to work it out and figure out where it was. But I saw an opportunity for a Six Sister scenario with the NASDAQ, and I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Let's see. I think it was for this high right here. Everybody else had taken theirs out here and here. So I was like, oh yeah, so the NASDAQ, they hadn't at the time, right? Like, uh, yes, the Dow had already taken it out right around there. Unless I'm just crazy and I can't find it. But I was tracking at the time. The Dixie was consolidating the whole time, so felt semi decent that we could at least get 5 candles. Anyway, so I don't want to keep this. I don't want to make this one too long. I just wanted to give you guys a quick brief. So tomorrow's my last day off, sans the weekend, and I'm back to full-time work next week. So I'll be back again 7 to 8, 10 to 11, and 2 to 4 for another round for this week. And I'll be doing this rest of the year. I gotta get a lot of these behind my belt because literally every time I look at one of these, I think to myself, like, this is my money. You know, this is what I could make if I do this right, if I follow my plan. If I'm not following my plan, it's basically gambling and I'm not making any money. So slow but surely things are starting to like make a little bit more sense. And it really is a journey, you know. You can feel like 1 minute you know what the hell you're doing, another minute, not a clue. Push through. I mean, look at me. I'm sitting out here. The pollen is killing me. I'm not gonna blow my nose on this video. It's miserable. But I am gonna stay the heck outside because, yeah, awesome. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, comments, and be safe out here. Shakira, out.